Hare Krishna. So today we shall be discussing the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, first chapter, text number 7. Om Jnanathimidandasya Gyananjana-chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So the text 7th is Yāni veda-vidāṁ śreṣṭho bhagavān bādarāyaṇaḥ anye munayaḥ sūta parāvara-vido viduḥ. Translation. Being the eldest learned Vedantist, O Sūta Gosvāmī, you are acquainted with the knowledge of Vyasadeva, who is the incarnation of Godhead, and you also know other sages who are fully versed in all kinds of physical and metaphysical knowledge. So in this verse, there is a significant point is being pointed out. Yāni veda-vidāṁ śreṣṭho. Veda-vidāṁ means the scholars of the Vedas. And śreṣṭha means the best among. So the best among the knowers of the Vedic subject matter is bhagavān Bādarāyaṇaḥ. Vyasadeva is considered the best among all the scholars of the Vedas because he is the compiler of the Veda. Being incarnation of Krishna, as Krishna says in Gita, Vedesha sarvair aham veda vedo, Vedanta krit, Vedanta vid. So Krishna is Vedanta krit in the form of Vyasadeva, and he is also Vedanta vid as Vyasadeva. So Sūta Gosvāmī personally knows Vyasadeva, and anye munayaḥ sūta parāvara-vido viduḥ. You also know other sages. Anye means other sages also. Anye munayaḥ. You know any other munis also who are parāvara-vido. Parāvara-vido means those who know the spiritual science or the sciences which are not material. Parāvara. Physical, Prabhupada is physical and metaphysical knowledge. So those who are well versed in different sciences, the different sages, you know them as well. So this is actually a very crucial point. So Sūta Gosvāmī knows the great sages, and knowing the great sages, he is expected to be also very learned. Because if you are keeping the company of people who are very learned in different sciences, it's natural that you also become learned. So Śrīla Prabhupada especially points out here in this purport that a person who represents Vyasadeva or Sūta Gosvāmī should be specifically learned in the 6 systems of philosophy. There are 6 systems of philosophy which Prabhupada points out, beginning with Gautama, Kanad, Kapila, Patanjali, Jaimini and Aṣṭāvakra. So these are the 6 systems of philosophy which are more or less atheistic. Superficially, some of them they appear also to be astic, referring to God or accepting the supreme authority, but still, more or less, they are all atheistic. Because they do not accept the supreme authority of the personality of Godhead. So, Gautama, for example, the philosophy of Gautama is Nyaya Shastra. Nyaya means logic. So everything is to be accepted on the basis of logic. So, and this Nyaya Shastra accepts 4 kinds of pramanas: Pratyaksha, Anuman, Upama, and Shabda. So Pratyaksha is something that you can see or perceive with your senses. That's called Pratyaksha. Anuman means guess. I have some experiences, so based on that I guess. And then upama. Upama means comparison. So whatever I have learned, I try to compare with my experiences. And then shabda. Shabda means simply hearing from the authority. So because Nyaya accepts these four systems, the four ways of accepting knowledge, therefore it is faulty. Next is Kanada. Kanada is another sage who gave the philosophy of Vaisheshika. Vaisheshika means the creation, everything is created by the atoms. Everything in this creation is made up of atoms, and all the experiences are nothing but the interaction of the atoms. So, no concept of spirit, no concept of God or superior control. Everything is simply atoms. I'm rubbing the hands, it's nothing but the different atoms are rubbing. So, all this is more or less atheistic. Similarly, Kapila. When to talk about Kapila, it's not the Kapila son of Devahuti, but this is an atheistic Kapila. He gave the Sankhya, which is again atheistic Sankhya, the analytical study of all the elements, 24 elements. And this also accepts three pramanas, Pratyaksha, Anuman and Shabda. So Pratyaksha means something that we can rely with our eyes, or our senses. Anuman again the guesswork, and Shabda is authority. In Patanjali, which is Yoga Sutras, they believe that Sankhya philosophy, they believe in Sankhya philosophy with the acceptance of God. And they proclaim that if you do some practices like yoga practices, that will lead to moksha or liberation from this material existence. And Jaimini, which is also, his philosophy is referred as Purva Mimamsa or also Karma Mimamsa. It's basically considering karma to be the topmost. That there is no importance to God or any other deities. Karma is everything. Simply do your karma. And God is bound to give you results. God or demigods, whoever is there, they have to give you results. So considering karma as the topmost. So that's also more or less atheistic. Krishna also preached this similar, karma mimamsa to the Nanda Maharaj and all the Brajavasis when he was inspiring them to let go the Indra worship. So devotees do not accept this philosophy as well, because this is more or less atheistic again. And finally, last but not the least, is Aṣṭāvakra. Aṣṭāvakra's philosophy is considered also more or less atheistic. His philosophy was that this whole creation is, nothing but the combination of the names and forms. It's a radical version of, non-dualistic philosophy, that this whole world is nothing but illusory names and forms. Does not accept even the transcendental names, like we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, for example. He considers every name and every form is nothing but material. So, therefore, this is actually more or less also atheistic philosophy. Aṣṭāvakra's philosophy is widely known as Aṣṭāvakra Samhita, or also known as Aṣṭāvakra Gita. So, a devotee should be well versed in these six systems of philosophy, in the sense that he can refute or defeat all these atheistic versions of philosophy based on Vedānta-sūtra, based on the philosophy of Vyasadeva. Vyasadev's presentation, Vedanta, is also called, Mimamsa. It's called Uttara Mimamsa. And it's actually theistic philosophy, actual theistic philosophy. So anyone who is follower of Vyasadeva and represents Vyasadeva must be capable of refuting all these six systems of atheistic philosophy. So this is the sum and substance of this particular verse. A person who is acquainted or well versed with the sciences, different sciences, is actually authorized bona fide teacher or a guru. So this is sum and substance of this verse. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.